those things. Turning 45.
This is 45, right?
This is 45. This is me, 45. All right. So welcome to our FOS. Oh, I need to get my robe, Dee. Oh, I should be wearing my robe. Our first post-Team Cup Quad Squad call. And again, we may have to reevaluate our night and time, or maybe it's just, you know, we want more people to be on so more people can benefit from all the knowledge we're going to drop on you all tonight, or all the questions we're going to be answering. But we were super excited. I know Danielle, Maggie, and Cece and I are really excited to have some of our leaders also jumping in and really helping. And just the purpose of Quad Squad and this Facebook group is to just, you know, continue to get our coaches started right, like we did with Team Cup, continue to inspire and motivate old coaches that are recommitting or coaches that are just trying to meet their goals. And to do that, we did set some minimum requirements. I think they're minimum. You know, the first month here in March, we have to all help at least one person. Most of us on this call probably have already done that. And then to stay in the group, Jen Connor, you're going to change your story. You're going to hit it by the 15th. Let's put that out to the universe.
Once I get done with this condo business.
Yes, for sure. And then month 2, which is April and moving forward, you know, your second, third month or whatever, you have to continue to hit Success Club, because that way we know you're invested in your business. You're continuing to, you know, earn some income and start, you know, making sure that you're making money and covering the cost of your own products. Plus, you know, it means you have what's the word I'm looking for? You've got skin in the game. You're trying to build a business, because that's what this group is for. So Danielle and I had some topics, but you guys, again, most of you are seasoned coaches. So if there's other things you guys want to talk about, we were planning on talking about the importance of Emerald, but I'm pretty sure everybody here is an Emerald already, right? At least Emerald. Okay. So the other topic was just what to invite to. So do you guys all know what you're inviting to right now? So who's running their own sneak peeks now out of you guys? Who's running sneak peeks on their own?
Well,
Emily, is your hand up, or are you just kind of hiding under your blanket?
Sorry, I'm cold.
you're chilly.
Go with your robe. Get like Dee.
I know. I need my robe. The robe kind of night.
So Amanda, do you invite to the one Danielle runs for you guys?
I have been. I've been getting like nickel and dime, and most of mine are discount coaches. I just recently got one who wants to be active. So I've been doing like more one-on-one, because I don't get a whole lot at one time.
Okay. So with that said, you know that Danielle, you guys have one coming up. We're running a team one. Like, she's doing her team, I'm doing my team. So I know Danielle and I run our businesses very similarly. And Emily and Jen are doing very similar things too. So I'll start inviting 2 to 3 days out all those people that are on my dream team list. So make sure that you guys have a list. Your chicken list is what we used to call it. Oh, good. Kristen's hopping on too. And just make sure you're making a list of those people that you want to have on your team, and just keep it simple and just be authentic, and ask them to say, I want you to be on my team because of blah, 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 blah. And people are very, very flattered to be invited to be considered, you know what I mean? It's very, very flattering. So make sure you know what you're inviting to. So Kristen Forno popped on. Yay. Are you in a bedroom, or are you actually someplace?
You're in talk.
That's fantastic. These later times must work better.
Yeah, they do, for me.
Okay. So Kristen's Emerald too. So Danielle and I had some topics to discuss, but everybody owns at least Emerald. Everybody on I think his interest is doing the Ultimate Portion Fix certification. We were going to talk about getting behind launches, and then also just knowing what you're inviting to. So we were just going around and making sure that everybody knows what they're inviting to, knows when they have coach sneak peeks, because it's come up in a couple of conversations that Danielle and I have had with our teams that, well, I invited to coaching last month, so I'm not inviting to that right now. And it's just kind of, you always need to be inviting to coaching, guys. Coaching is what's going to build your long-term income, and what really starts to make this fun. And I used to get in my head a lot, and Danielle, please hop in anytime. I can talk forever. I used to get in my head all the time that I couldn't invite to coaching because I didn't have a good enough story, or I didn't have a big enough income, or I didn't have enough success behind me to post. And you guys, the people that are going to relate to you don't need to see that you're earning 6 figures. They don't need to see that you've got this like from broke bartender, drunk to top coach story. They need to relate to you and connect to you, but you need to start sharing more about coaching in your social media. So if you're not posting about coaching, then nobody knows that you are building a team or trying to build a team, or that you offer mentorship or anything like that. So if you're not posting, I know Emily has really started the past couple of months really peppering in more coaching. And it takes time, just like anything in this business takes time, 2-3 months. If it's on Instagram, it's more like 6 months to start seeing the fruits of that labor. So make sure, does everybody here know kind of what they're inviting to right now? Is everybody doing sneak peeks on their own, or have an upline that's doing one for them and know when it is? Okay.
No. Can I jump? I will. Oh, who said no? Hold on. We need to address that first. Jen.
I'll figure that out.
Okay.
I sent Cece a message today and said, hey, let's do a sneak peek. So I'll make one happen.
Okay.
Why aren't you doing yours on your own yet, Jen?
I have done them on my own. I'll just do one on my own then next week. That's what
I'm just asking. I mean, I'm not saying you have to, because sometimes it's nice to pair up and get more people engagement, but
the reason why I sent Cece a message was because I usually get 3 people, but also on the Diamond Call this morning, they talked about how people were pairing up to do them. So it's easier. You don't have to go in all the time and do the stuff. So that's why. But I have done them by myself before.
But then there's also Courtney Burton's that's killing it, and she's doing her own by herself because she's speaking to her people, you know, because
so how to conquer the income part, because that's where I have an issue doing it by myself.
Okay.
Why does the income matter? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Danielle.
No. You're fine. Yeah. Why do you feel like you have? So I guess I assume, Jen, you're going to ask the same questions I have. Like, you have an income from this, correct? Like there is a direct deposit that is happening weekly-ish, monthly-ish into your account. So there is money there that would not be there if you were not doing this.
Right.
Correct?
Correct.
Okay. So that's something that I highlighted in the very beginning of my coaching journey is what does that income pay for? So if that's $50 that week, what does $50 mean to your family? Maybe that means, I know you guys are going on a Disney cruise, right? Or a cruise?
No, not the cruise, Disney trip.
Disney trip. World, right? So perhaps you're putting that $50 into a fund for your Disney trip. How many other women out there would love to be able to put $50 a week into a fund for a Disney trip for their family? Like maybe that means extra groceries or higher quality groceries that you would not normally get. Maybe that means, you know, whatever it means for your family, it has to connect deeply to your story or it doesn't matter. Like you can't make up something that somebody else, like it would feel inauthentic to me.
Yes.
And I will say, Dee, I've struggled with the same thing because, and just to lay it all out there, like my family does not need this income. Do we like it because it helps our lifestyle be a quality that we enjoy? Yes. But if Beachbody shut down tomorrow and there was no more coaching and my income was 100% gone, my family would not be on welfare. Like my husband has a fine job in the Army. But so if I went and said like, I went from broke, destitute bartender on welfare and now I can afford this luxury apartment, like that's not my story. So you need to get real clear on your story.
I think, Danielle, can I just jump in, because this ties a little bit into one of the reasons that I jumped into Jen's coaching group or Jen's sneak peek too. And I have been thinking about this. So I'm not making a lot of money with this yet either, right? Like I have big dreams and I want to be making a boatload of money. Obviously I have to do the work to make that happen. So when, you know, I know what my reasoning is and my story and my passion for joining, and I know where I want to get to, but I almost feel like the person I want to attract is somebody who is a runner, and yet my story is like $50 went into my bank account last week, although more the week before. So I can say things that relate to that, but I guess in my mind, it's as you're saying it, I'm like, yeah, of course, I should just be saying that. What I've been blocked by is thinking like, that's not enough. And
That's
will
not
anybody
attractive,
find that
right?
inspiring
Yeah.
and jump in because of that? Because if I left a huge job and I do need to make money, so I need to make this work. But is it enough? Will people be excited about, like, when people look at the top leaders, obviously they're excited.
Right. You're comparing yourself.
Yes,
Right.
exactly. So now
So-
I'm hearing that as I'm saying it all. It's making a lot of sense,
You guys
Right.
make sure. Oops. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I fall into that trap all the time. I think everybody does. And I have to constantly remind myself, it's part of my affirmations, that my story is my story. My story is not Moira's story. My story is not Meredith's story. And just because my story is not their story doesn't make it invaluable. Because there's a lot of people that relate to me that see an income that's massive, and they cannot even remotely picture themselves there. Like, they have not become the person that could even picture themselves earning that amount of money. And B, when that doesn't happen in month 1, 2, and 3, they're like, well, this is stupid. This doesn't work because I'm not making blah, 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 blah. So you have to show them that it's not always like all of the sudden massive income.
Yeah, like
Maybe
what I
they
like about Emily posting, like last night, like Dave Matthews is coming to town, and her post was like, oh my God, I'm so glad I have, I'm doing this coaching because I get to go to all these music events that randomly pop up in town. And I was like, yeah, that is perfect. Like, that made sense. I could connect the dots. I could understand that there's something of value there. So
Right.
yeah, I'm hearing it. And like 2 weeks ago, I wasn't getting it. And now it's like sinking in more.
The two things that came up that I wanted to share with you guys, and if you guys aren't all in Together Rising, let us know and we can share the call if it hasn't been shared already. Keith Callahan did a call for Meredith's team Tuesday, and I was listening to it today. And you guys, if you don't know who Keith Callahan is, you should. He's a multi-million-dollar earner, but he's never like top of the boards because he builds smartly and builds for income. But he said something that's very powerful that I wrote down today, and it says you have to become the leader for the team that you want to attract. Okay, so if you, and the other thing, and Moira's always done this very, very well, is you have this vision. Where's Kristen? She shifted on the screen. Like, we all have this vision of what we want our teams to be and what we want this life to be. So cast it out there. Start sharing that on social media. Like in my sneak peeks, I'm talking about the team that I want to build and where we're going, and that I want women that are ready to run with me to the top of earning 6 to 7 figures. So putting that out there and speaking it boldly also is going to start telling the universe, I'm ready, let's start doing this, and sharing the small wins. I mean, one of my most powerful posts was when I was able to put tires on my car without having to call Tom and figure out how we're going to pay for it, and that was a year or 2 ago. So the small wins are going to be more relatable than a 6-figure income. But the people that have the 6-figure income work their hindies off like they're working 6 to 7 figures too. So casting your vision out and just becoming that leader that's going to attract that team too. Like, just making sure you're doing the work on that part, and sharing that part of your journey. Because a lot of us are scared to put the coaching part out there because that's the part that we're insecure about. We don't have confidence. But again, guys, that's like that muscle, that invitation muscle, that posting muscle. The more, and Danielle and I've been working with this together, is starting to share more and inviting more to the coaching opportunity, because that's where the long-term income growth is going to happen. You guys don't want to make all your income hustling to get Success Club points on challenge packs from customers. You want to be making money because you're building teams of leaders and leaders and leaders and leaders.
Yeah, and Jen, while you were talking about that, there were two things that I really I feel like have to be spoken about in that. So Meredith did the National Wake Up Call, I don't know, whenever that was. And she said something that was incredibly powerful to me and has really, I feel like looking back after listening to that, it really started to shift things for me, because she talked about a team mission. And I think that that's really scary when you're like, God, I'm just starting this, like a team mission. I don't even know what that is. But I think Moira does a really good job of this as well, because both of them talk about understanding what it is that you want to create. So I realized, like, in the very beginning of this, for me anyway, it was just like, I don't know that I want to create anything. I just kind of want to earn my Shakeology back and whatever. But as you go along and you do catch the idea, the understanding that truly team building is where, like you said, the long-term income comes in. But more than that, it's more fun with other people. It's fun to run a really kick-ass challenge group.
I'm not sure who that is. I'm going to try to mute everybody.
Okay. I can unmute myself.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know where that was coming from. Maybe it's my feedback.
I think we're good now.
Okay. So really, really getting behind, and I still, guys, Jen and I have talked about this a little bit. I'm an Enneagram 8. So if you know anything about Enneagrams, like I'm a hardcore 8. I'm a healthy 8, but I'm a hardcore 8, meaning I have to be year 7 or 6. Okay. I'll have to know what that is. If it is not my idea, I have to be drug kicking and screaming into it. Like, absolute, like, to a fault. I mean, my husband will be like, yeah, for sure. Like, that's everything that we've ever done has been me kicking and screaming. And so even the idea of like, okay, create a vision for your team, like create an idea of what you want your team to look like, and then start, like you said, Jen, casting that out, or whatever that looks like for you, putting that out there to the world. And this was kind of the tag on to creating that vision of what I want my team to look like, is stop being afraid of turning someone off. I think that was really big for me, was like, well, if I don't say women and I only say moms, or if I only say moms and I don't say women, or like because I want my team to be faith-based, I'm scared that if I say Christian, like, then what if somebody over here who wanted to be on my team, but now she's like, oh, well, Danielle only wants Christian moms. Now they're like, okay, well, I'm not a part of her team. I was so scared of turning someone off to coaching that I was not putting out who I wanted. And when things have really started to shift for me, and I've really started attracting people that want to build businesses, is when I started putting out, I want women who care about these 3 things. And I sat down and thought about, Courtney Burton was one who really pushed me to think about, like, tell people right off the bat if they're not right for this because they don't fit these qualifications. Like, for me, that's a whole health mentality. If somebody does not truly believe that health encompasses nutrition, fitness, and mental health, then they are not going to be a good fit for my team. I also have attracted people because of my like seat filling mentality. Like, oh, I got to fill seats. I got to hold my diamond stable. That I encourage people to become coaches that honestly didn't have any business being coaches. They don't care about people. They're very self-focused. They truly do not give a flying crap about other people. They're not going to be a good fit for my team. So I'm pouring a lot of energy into like dragging these people along that were never a good fit for my team. And so when I stopped trying to people please and seat fill and really started to put out there, I want to build a team of people who care about whole health, who such and such and such and such. And if you resonate with that, then I want to talk to you. And if you're constantly expanding your network, you may not have those people on your friends list right now, but if you're constantly expanding your network into people who are like your avatar, are like the people you want to have on your team, those people are going to be there, and those people are going to start seeing your posts, and those people are going to start answering your Facebook messages and whatever. So those are kind of the 2 things that I really wanted to pipe in with. So
can you tell me a little bit about the when you said you were an 8? What I've never heard of it before. What was that called again?
So I'll write it in the chat box because it's kind of spelled funny.
Okay.
And you can just Google an Enneagram test.
Okay.
I found it, and there's a free one and a paid one. Like, don't pay for it. Just do the free one. It's good enough. I found it incredibly helpful. I find that it's very revealing of me and the traits that are good about myself, that are strengths, and the things that I now know and can own. Like I said, like the fact that I have to come to an idea on my own. You can spit the best idea out there. And my innate, no matter how healthy I am, my innate reaction is negative. My innate reaction is cynicism and why it won't work. No matter how much personal development I do, that's my gut reaction. And so now that I know that about myself, I can start recognizing my patterns that are self-destructive, and I can start owning that part of me and really coming into that. But it also, because I made my husband take it, it's improved our marriage. I feel like once I start being able to recognize, okay, well, Amanda Harold is a whatever, I have not like typed you, but like Amanda Harold is a this, now I can better relate to her. I know the things that if I don't know, I can't speak to Amanda about this because I don't know her number, but like for Matt, my husband, he's a 9, which is like the peacemaker. Like if you criticize him, his gut reaction is shut down and like wall up, no talking. Like it's like his eyes are glassy and he's gone. So I can't start a conversation with him telling him what he's done wrong. It will never end well. So even now, just knowing that, I'm able to reframe things that I say. And now, at the end of the day, I get what I want. I get him to take out the trash. I get him to do whatever. So anyways, so 9, 8, and 5. See, Kristen, I would type you as an 8. I think you and I are a lot alike in that. Like, it just takes you a little bit to really own an idea, because it has to be your own, and that's okay.
Absolutely.
That's okay. I mean, you know that about yourself now, and so you can work on it, and not work on it as in fix it, but work on it as in, okay, I recognize that this is a part of who I am. And so give me 10 minutes to talk it out loud, to work through it, or a week, or however long it takes you. And then you're like, no, we're good. This is a good idea. Jen deals with it friggin' constantly on our calls. Like, why are you not doing that? Well, I don't want to. It wasn't my idea, so I don't want to do it. I think
Jen deals with me like that too. So.
Would you say, Kristen?
I said Jen has to deal with me like that too. Yeah,
but then you guys have to deal with me by 6, where I'm indecisive.
Right.
And constantly, what is it? Questioning myself.
Yes.
So yeah, it's all balance.
Anyway.
Well, now I can't wait to take it.
I know. All of the people need to take it. I don't know. It's helpful. So Dee, back to like why with running sneak peeks. The other thing that I do that's really helpful is, number one, I showcase mine with pride, no matter what it is. Like, do I want to be making more? And then I start self-checking myself, because I've been doing this 4.5 years. I should be making this amount of money. I should be this. Well, you should be yourself to death. Like, just state the facts, state the reality, state where you want to go. I mean, I think all the time about, you'll hear a national wake-up call sometime where it's like, somebody will say, oh, well, I dabbled in it. I was a diamond for 4 years. And then all of a sudden, everything clicked. Even Keith Callahan was talking about Haley Christian, and that was something that resonated with me. It was like, she's diamond, in and out of diamond for 3 years straight. All of the sudden, it mattered to her because of what was his story about her. She went back to working as a bartender and left in the middle of her first shift again, because she's like, I am not ever doing this again.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it mattered. And when you make that decision, I mean, I've watched people move mountains when they've made a decision. So, but it has to matter to you. And if it doesn't matter to you, you kind of have to own that it doesn't matter to you. Because there have been times in my 4 years of doing this where it hasn't mattered to me. I don't care if I'm diamond. Like, for whatever reason, I do obviously now, but like for whatever reason, it was like, oh, I don't care if I'm making $1,000 a month. It didn't matter. But now it does. So now I have to do the actions that back up that it matters.
Yeah, I'm trying to hone in into why I'm inconsistent on everything.
Well,
Are you doing your vital behaviors?
On everything. That's my thing. On everything. I'm actually going back to the Fortune Fix, of course. And I'm watching it this week. Well, no wonder you're not losing weight. I'm looking at the little thing, or maybe this is better for me. And I thought 2B mindset was better for me at the time, but I kind of am glad that I have the 2B mindset now, so that I can have that more positive mindset about it all. So I'm dealing with stuff there, but just that I'll do really well for a while, consistent on posting for a little while. I'm like a roller coaster in that, in my health, all of it. And I'm like, okay, I've been stepping back in the past, probably within the past week, I've probably been looking at it like, I've noticed when I get recognition that I start boom, 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 boom. I was like, oh, and I start going away. It's like, why is that? So I'm trying to.
So like fear of success in something?
Yeah, or worth, maybe, history, stuff like that. So.
Jen, counter, what's up?
Because I have Keith Callahan's book, and I think I read something about, it's like once I would like to reinforce the mental health aspect, because you can be doing all the things, but if your mental game or you're not taking care of that, it's like, I love my therapist and my shrink, but I would not be where I am now if it wasn't for them and taking care of myself. So maybe that could be something in your past, is keeping you from going forward. So you might want to look at addressing, that sort of thing.
No, 100%, Jen, and I will toe that line till the end of my days. Like, I don't care. I mean, like that, and that's what I mean. Like with the whole health mentality of the team that I want to build, that you can literally eat kale and broccoli and work out 7 days a week and look as hot as humanly possible. But if your head's effed up, and you're not healthy. End of story. Like,
right.
So
and that's what I was discussing with Jamie. We're close. So
yeah.
I was discussing with her. I said, if I can't help myself, how am I going to help other people? So I really have to get that in a better place, which goes to the personal development part. And I would have never thought about this back in the day. I would have been totally on the outside, and that's all that mattered.
And I will say, Dee, and I don't know, all the intricacies, and I'm not any kind of diagnosey kind of thing. Sometimes it's more than books, and sometimes it's a professional. Like, that's not a shameful thing. It doesn't mean that you couldn't do it yourself, sometimes you need I am the biggest advocate for someone going to seek professional help in this. Why else do people go see personal trainers? Why else do people go see nutritionists? They need why do people come to us? Yeah. They need help, and trying to do that on your own is exhausting, and it's a hamster wheel. And for God's sakes, if you can pay somebody $50 for an hour, or how much, $200 an hour, or $1 an hour to sit there and listen to you, blah, 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 and they don't have a relationship with you, that it's magical. Jen,
from the outside in. Yeah.
It is the best. Like, it's like a paid best friend that doesn't really get all that many opinions. You can say whatever you want.
Life coach, right. Yes.
Like, go see.
Like, literally, like, and I would totally echo that. Like, professional and therapist, psychiatrist, like medical help is sometimes completely necessary. But one other thing I would say, Dee, and I'm just saying this because I've just been like watching everybody, especially in this group, is like, there's so much power in sharing that vulnerability in your own journey and showing people the struggles of your own journey as the example of you taking steps to make yourself better, right? So like the first time I did this, I just left my full-time career, like fully left a almost 20-year career, became a life coach, was just evaluating the program, like, is this something I could use and get clients with? And, oh, and by the way, holy shit, like, it's such a great thing for me and my body. And then carrying people through that experience, that's why people talk to me. Like, I had 3 women this week who I randomly met at a book club who heard my story, went online, saw what I'm doing and now are like, I got to do what you're doing. And it's only because of the vulnerability side of it, because if I hadn't shown some of that stuff and just showed me at my best, like, people want to see the struggle. They want to know that they can relate. And so I feel like there's also, you know, for me, it's discipline and just going through the process, but then exposing your vulnerability along the way. So just thought I'd say that.
Oh, 100%. I mean, the most powerful post, and I don't know, Dee, if you've ever read Daring Greatly, but it is like literally one of my favorite books ever. But she talks about that. I like want to give you a big hug, Dee. But she talks about that, and that's why even in our Quad Squad group last month, I said, when's the last time that you got really vulnerable on your Facebook? Like where you wrote something that you wanted to puke posting it. Because those are the posts that every single time I do that, and sometimes it's not public acclaim. It's not, oh, girl, I totally resonate. It's the 2 or 3 messages that I get behind the scenes that are like, thank you for that. I needed to hear that I'm not the only one that feels this way. Because we all look, I mean, Brene has this quote about vulnerability that when you look at somebody else that shares their cancer journey or their struggle with depression or their binge eating, you're like, oh, they are so brave. Oh, what an incredible, like, wow, she's amazing. But the second you turn it on yourself, it's like, no, I'm weak. I can't do this on my own. Nobody should see that. Like, it's completely false, you know?
I think when that happens, I'm like, oh, I don't want all the sympathy. So, oh, you're doing great. You know, I was like, ugh.
Then turn it off.
Feel that way.
Post and run. Post and run. Well, and as long as you can always spin it, and I hate saying spin because I feel like that's very PR, but I mean, as long as it's not woe is me, and your intention isn't woe is me.
No, it's not.
Feel bad. And then it won't ever come off that way. That's your inner demons holding you back. I mean, I was talking to Cece earlier this week because she was really fearful about a post. Put the fear in there. Like, I'm really scared to share this because I don't want a bunch of people thinking I'm being a whiner. I don't want people think that I'm complaining or that I'm needing sympathy. Like, I'm very afraid of that. Social media can be a very scary place. But I also know that the power of sharing this story, of my story, when one person sees that, it can change their life. So I am going to share my story, and I am going to stand up and say, like, this is really hard for me. I fail 10 times and get up 11. Like, that's okay. Like, and then that's still okay, you know?
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. It's hard. I mean, it's the beautiful part about coaching and the part that's really hard.
I think I haven't even been bringing it in here and talking on these calls and stuff just because of that.
Yeah.
Because I'm working through my own stuff.
Well, you've got this amazing team that wants to be there for you, so know that.
Yeah, I know, but when you get into the coaching part and you're doing all this, I know that everybody's a mom, that everybody's doing this, and everybody's busy. Everybody's busy or 2 jobs and doesn't have, it's always something. I feel like I don't want to bug them. I'll just bug Jamie all the time.
I am not a mom. You can bug me, Dee.
Okay.
We're also friends and mentors and leaders. And
I am a mom, and you can bug me.
Feel free to text me anytime.
Right.
But I mean, to me, that's, again, obviously I have a faith background, but like, that's Satan telling you that you're not enough. That's the devil isolating you and making you feel like you're alone, that everybody else is too busy to talk to me. And
well, it's not too busy to talk to me. I don't want to annoy. So that's the devil too. Oh, sorry.
Okay. So now that you're saying it out loud, you see it. Okay, good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good. I was going to say, you were about to say something. I can't read your name. I'm crying.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dana.
Yes. Hey, this is my first time on this.
That's funny. So Dana, where are you? I'm not in Together Rising. So where are you?
I'm with Maggie Marlowe.
Oh, good. Yay. Are you the mother-daughter?
Yes. And we just can't get it together. I mean, I do the workouts. I do the professional books. I read those. I post. I mean, I've only posted twice this week because I really don't know where to begin. I just can't get started. It's like I'm obsessing over it and making myself sick about it because I don't know what to do.
Well, yeah, you want to be good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I did Beachbody for a year with Maggie, and then I stopped, and I know it works. I feel better when I need the accountability. I know it works. But
so,
Dana, can I just ask a question? Is your post the one from February 23rd that had 82 likes on it?
I have no idea.
You had 82 likes on a post about being conscientious about overall health and wellness, right?
Right.
Like, people are paying attention to what you're saying there, for sure.
That's 86 invites you could send.
Right.
And that's the only one I see that's public. So just I always go to try to diagnose what could the challenge for you be that you could overcome. But I'll let Danielle and Jen talk. They're more experts than me. But looking at it, you obviously have the vital behaviors, but you obviously have interest and people who are following you, and it seems like you have a big opportunity there for sure.
I couldn't have said it any better, Kristen.
Right. Well, and as far as posting consistently, because I know that is hard, especially in the beginning. To me, you have two sets of things going on right now. Number one, you got to invite, that's just part of it. So a very easy, and I think sometimes I get paralyzed because I'm like, no, there's so much I don't even want to, like you said, I don't even know where to begin. Right. So come up with a little, for me, a very simple thank you script is very helpful. Hey, thank you so much, Dana, for, being so sweet and showing love on my post about blah, blah, blah. If it was a direct, what I would call a hard invite kind of post, then I would say, not sure if you're interested, but I am getting ready to run a Back to Basics boot camp starting April the 1st or whatever you're doing. Are you interested in getting more information about that? And then send. And because once you start it going, the hardest thing to do is just to get started. Once you get started, it's fine. I mean, and then the other thing is getting consistent with posting. One of the things that, I don't know, do you have a Rise Up planner?
No.
Okay, so any calendar will do. It really doesn't matter.
Okay.
But grab a calendar and start by doing one post a day. Don't try to do, Instagram stories and Facebook and this and that. One thing at a time. I'm big into just do the one thing at a time and just walk right through it. Like Jen said, with the business activity tracker, just walking straight through that business activity tracker. I'm a box checker, so it's real easy.
Okay.
Yes, Kristen's got it too.
I've got that.
Yeah. So you can walk through that. And one of the items is add value on social media. So maybe one day a week, maybe Sunday, sit down and do Monday food, Tuesday workout, Wednesday coaching, Thursday food, Wednesday or Friday workout, and then go in with the intention of adding value.
Okay.
Because I think sometimes we get stuck in, I've got to get this big wordy post that is all emotion and
and I can't.
Don't do it. Make it a healthy breakfast. Hey guys, this is my favorite breakfast that I have. I know Jen, you do your toast and an egg casserole that you pre-make. Mm-hmm. Throw a recipe up there. Add value to a space that in general is lacking in a lot of value. That's how you stand out. And then when you go into your invites, your power hour, whatever you're going to call that, your power blocking, whatever, that is the post that you then go reference the post the day before. The people that responded, hit them first. And the second thing you do is go to the likers or the lovers or whatever and just send them a little message. Hey, did you ever try that egg casserole I posted about? It's my favorite. Like, and then just go from there. It doesn't have to be this big scary thing, you know?
That sounds good.
Doable, right?
Right, doable.
Right. Because I think
didn't know if I had to do videos. I'm so technology challenged. I mean, it's taken me 2 weeks to figure out all this stuff within Beachbody.
Right. And go ahead. No, please.
There's an activity that we have in the Quad Squad for the color wheel, and that's the other thing is that
I did do the color wheel, but I printed it because I couldn't figure out if you were supposed to do it on the
however
computer.
I wrote mine. Some people used Canva and got fancy. I hand wrote mine. Just make sure you're sharing information on the color wheel too, because Danielle constantly has to remind me to share other things besides Beachbody.
Right.
So share it on this group or share it where?
No, on your Facebook, on your whatever social media platform you're posting to. You want to share content, valuable content, like Danielle said about your color wheel. Like she's like, I never see anything about physical therapy. So yesterday I talked more about like more wellness, physical therapy, not exactly physical therapy, but some like more stuff like that. Right. So it doesn't all have to be, it's all tied together, but people are going to connect to you for reasons other than Beachbody. It's what we used to call connective tissue. Mm-hmm. So like that color wheel is how people are going to relate to you. And then they're going to see a wellness post or a workout post and like, oh, well, Dana looks really great. I want to do what she's doing. But they've connected to you for like mother-daughter dates and pedicures or something, you know, something that like for me, it's physical therapy. I'm a mom. I'm a wannabe green thumb, but I kill everything. You know, I like coffee. I like wine. I love French fries and I'm still a wellness coach. You know, it's just kind of those certain things that I still talk about that people relate to. Emily joined me because she saw me eating a freaking French fry on a post that I still enjoy French fries every now and then. And where Kristen, she shared this in our sneak peek that like I brought a healthy casserole to my kids' classroom party, and she's like, she's really living a life. She's just not full of shit on social media. She's actually living it. And I'm like, wow, I never really knew that. I'm so glad you guys shared that. So it's like that had nothing to really do with Beachbody. You know, it's just, I mean, certainly me eating a French fry didn't have to do with Beachbody, but Emily's like, that chick's eating French fries, and she's still wellness coach. So it's those sorts of things that people are going to relate to you outside of Beachbody. So make sure you're posting from that color wheel, not just, where'd she go? There she goes.
Okay.
Not just, you know, fitness, you know, not just workouts, not just those sorts of things. And Danielle constantly has to call me out on that because I tend to go there because that content's easier for me now than coming up with stuff to talk about that I think valuable for my color wheel, you know.
Or you're not supposed to, am I supposed to mention Beachbody in a post or no? I didn't think so.
No Beachbody lingo.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, for example, like right now, you know, specifically, I think a lot of people struggle with it with the workouts and Shakeology. Those are like the two main things that people are, and when they're talking about coaching, they say Beachbody coaching instead of just saying coaching. So with Shakeology, I typically call it a superfood smoothie.
Okay.
But you can, you know, the only thing I would really hardcore avoid is calling it a protein shake because it's not a protein shake.
Okay.
But like 6 salads in a cup, or, you know, my healthy chocolate breakfast or whatever. And then workouts, I usually use what type of workout it is. So like right now I'm doing Lift 4 and Transform 20. So I'm calling it circuit training.
Okay.
This is my circuit training workout kind of thing. And even then, I think there's fear there that you're like, well, I don't want to like deceive somebody by not telling them what it is. But it's not deception. What you're trying to do is create a conversation. Because if there's no conversation, they can buy it on Amazon. They don't need you if you're giving them everything. I mean, I can't tell you how many times people post stuff and I will highlight it and drop it into Google and be like, what the heck is she talking about? Like, so don't do that because that's what people are doing.
Okay.
So you want some kind of interaction where when you go to reach out during your inviting time or your connection time, whatever you want to call that, that you have a conversation piece, you know?
The other thing that I will say, because this does come up, is that you will see top coaches hashtagging and using Beachbody lingo, but they are top coaches that are already well known as Beachbody coaches. So people are going to buy from them. They're not going to go to Amazon You know what I mean? And buy from,
Right.
Amazon. Because like Christina Delgado has like Beachbody stuff all over the place, but she's a top coach. She's been doing it forever. She's kind of earned the right to put it out there. You know what I mean? Whereas like us just getting started, we need to create that curiosity, build that relationship. Like when you get to a certain level, I feel like there are certain people. Well, but Amy Silverman, another top coach who's our like grandmother coach or whatever you want to call her, Danielle. But like you never see her share anything about Beachbody. Like she markets it as herself, like it's her brand, it's her boot camps. You know what I mean? So people do it different ways, and it's not that we're ashamed of Beachbody. We're all very proud of Beachbody, but like Danielle said, I mean, I am very frugal, and sometimes I don't want to have to go through somebody to get something. I just want to like go to Amazon and buy it and not have to have a discussion, because I don't feel like talking to people on the phone all the time. You know what I mean? So it's not that we're all being Beachbody. It's just that we want to create that dialogue.
It's also, I think, in listening, especially when Carl Deichler, the CEO, talks about it, it's like you've gone through an experience of making healthy changes for your life, and you just want to help other people see those results too, and you can help them, and you have the tools to do it. It doesn't matter what the tools are. What matters is the commitment of the person, their desire to change, become healthier, and if they can relate to you in your experience and pick up on that, they will join you. And therefore, and they don't need to hear the brand names. And there's just also like the minute someone hears a brand name, they have an association of something. And Beachbody, he's talked about a lot. Like if he could come up with some other way to fix the whole system and change it all, he may consider it, but there's no way for him to do that. He's like, so we're sticking with it. Wow. And just don't talk about it, which I think is funny, but it's, again, the relatability, the way you're bringing someone in anyway. So if they want to do what they're seeing work for you, it doesn't matter what it's called. It doesn't matter at all.
Well, and I'll kind of piggyback off of that real quick before we have to hop off here, but you're exactly right on the association. I can't tell you how many times if somebody says whatever it is, I have, whether it's a positive association or a negative association, I have my own perception of what that is. And I'm not even talking about Beachbody. Like I will never forget, I had a client in the very beginning of coaching have a really negative experience with customer service, like just had a terrible experience. Well, she put Beachbody on blast because everybody talks about their negative experience and not their positive one, right? Well, and in my head, I immediately saw the ramifications of that. Every single person on her friends list that saw that, now if I'm using the name Beachbody, is going to think that that's how all the experiences are. And I'm just trying to sell them something. When the reality is it was that one negative experience, and most likely because she was a turd bucket. So, sorry.
Turd bucket.
I mean, she's a nice person, but she's kind of a turd bucket. So I think that that's a really big part of why I personally don't share it. Like you said, Jenna, it's not about being ashamed at all. I want to be able to be in control of the conversation versus you being in control of all of the things that you think about Beachbody, whether they, are true or not. So.
Okay. You guys want to take a picture real quick?
Yeah.
Talking about social media.
Are you send it to me or tag me in it?
Sure, whatever. Whatever you're supposed to look here and smile. All right.
Thank you.
Sure. Any questions before we wrap up, guys?
Dee, sorry, hold on. I'm trying to, it's our business. I don't know what she's talking about. Did I do my own hybrid? Yeah, I did. I'll give it to you. I don't know what they're doing, but I thought it was funny that they're doing something.
No, they just so happened to mention, because me and I think Leslie were talking about doing a hybrid with that, or I was thinking about the 21-day fix with the T20.
I personally cannot do autumn for that long. I can't
either. I know a lot of people that love her, but yeah, I can't either. And so I was going to do her on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Right. And when the product, and maybe we can tag on this a little bit, because I do think that it's really, really, really important that when a launch comes out, you do the launch like it's your freaking job, because it is. Like, it's your job to do the launch as written. I mean, I feel like if you're going to move your business forward, that's part of it. Now, that's for 21 days or how many ever days. If it's a 6-week program, you do that for 6 weeks. And what I do in the interim is what fills my soul and my current need. And my current need right now is Lift 4 and Transform 20. So
yeah, I did her at the beginning, and I've done T20, and so mine's mainly nutrition. So I'm like Carl. Didn't he say he was like a second grader or something? Second grade. That's me. But I think I've gotten up to like 7th grade now. I think I'm pretty sure. Anyway, yeah. So I was just asking. But after we were talking about the hybrid, they mentioned something on Instagram about doing something together. So that's
somebody tagged me in something, and I was like, oh, that's my idea. But it's a very natural pairing, in my opinion. Like,
that's an 8 for you right there. Did you guys hear that? It was my idea.
They were like, oh, Danielle Porter, we know her.
I think I thought of it before you. Just kidding. I'm not that way. I don't care.
No, it just, to me, it's a very easy pairing. I mean, 4 days a week, you can pair that with a high cardio. Like, because Lift 4, no matter if he says it's a hit or not, in my opinion, that's not enough cardio for me to see continual results with weight loss. I can build hella muscle, but weight loss wise, I need that extra cardio in there. So, okay. I don't think there was any other. Nope. Okay. All right, guys. It's late East Coast. I'm glad to meet you, Dana. I'm glad to finally see your face.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. All right. Bye, guys.
Have a nice